Guess what? The phone book still works. I've got guys in the currency brokerage that I worked for who are still calling the phone book in 2019. Okay? When I started sales, I don't know how many, more than a decade ago, praise God, I don't have to make fucking cold calls anymore. And I'm well removed from that. But when I did, they were saying cold calling was dying. It hasn't. Every single phone book in Toronto, every single business in the fucking yellow pages has been called by that one currency brokerage branch, not just the firm, but that branch. Every one of those companies has been called. And that branch does 5 million. I bet 2.5 million a year of that is from the fucking phone book, dude. I had to build a book of business. Every job that I went to, I needed 40 grand a month to keep my job. Never inherited any business at all. Okay? Guys are calling the phone book. Guys are going out in person pitching people, doing shit that's horrendous that other people would rather, slit their wrist than do. Okay? That's what everyone says. They say, I'm not a sales guy. I couldn't sell. Nobody's a sales guy. No one says I want to go fucking cold call 100 people a day. No one says I want to be in sales. What they say is I don't want to be poor anymore. How do I make money without having a professional designation like a doctor or a lawyer? Or I don't want to work a job anymore. How do I make money as an entrepreneur? I need to go out and fucking sell. Okay? I need to do the shit that all the other people don't want to do. That is the motherfucking price to success, is doing stuff that's painful, doing stuff that other people don't want to do, because your competitors aren't going to be doing that. And that's why you're going to level up above them. Okay? And every high value thing comes with that price. But when you have the ability to do that, you have a superpower. Okay? You have a superpower. When you are desensitized to rejection and rudeness and hatred and criticism, you have a superpower of like armor, right? Like your superpower is that armor. You're able to do those things. You don't like it, but you're relatively desensitized to it. It's not a big deal. My first cold call, my hand was shaking. By the end of it, I'd be making 100 calls a day, and I'd forget I was on the phone until I would be talking to my buddy and someone picked up, and then I would go right into my pitch, and the cold calling was a joke at that point. What I was scared of was missing my targets, because I was only, always like 2 or 3 months away from getting fired. The scary thing was the boss and the targets and the breathing down your neck, and like cold calling people wasn't even a fucking problem, So it gets better over time, and you get to outsource it over time. But until then, you have to level up and pay that price. Even if you're making 8 figures in your business, I know some of you guys are making 8 figures, or you're doing 7 figures and you're trying to get to 8 figures. There's going to be pain to get to that next level, okay? And so you might be able to get to 8 figures and you're good there, and you just spend the rest of your time outsourcing that pain, and that's good. But if you want to go to that next level, there's always going to be pain there. Now, if you're smart and you've been following my stuff, you're going to say, well, how does that make sense? Because you're always telling us about being happy. The whole point of life is happiness. The whole point of life is to be in a consistently happy state as possible. Why are you telling us to go after pain? Isn't that, a poor way to live? Isn't that egoic to spend your day pursuing pain for money or fitness or whatever that may be? And that's a great question, okay? But the answer is, I'm talking about consistent happiness. If we were talking about just pure happiness for today, I would tell everyone to do ecstasy or black tar heroin, okay? Because you'll be happy today. Problem is that stuff doesn't last, and it will crush your consistent happiness in the long term. In fact, a lot of the stuff that makes you short-term happy will crush your consistent happiness in the long term. And the reality about life is there's going to be pain either way, okay? Let's say you don't do all this stuff. All right, you don't have to go out and step out of your comfort zone and do all these uncomfortable things. You're going to feel the pain of not being successful. You're going to feel the pain of not having a mission. You're going to feel the pain of not living up to your potential. So which pain is it? Which pain do you want? I don't want that pain. Okay? I don't want the pain of ever having to work a job again. I don't want to have the pain of feeling like I'm lazy, knowing I'm not living up to my potential. I don't want to have the pain of seeing other people with the things that I want and me sitting on my ass, not going after that, and then feeling like a fucking pussy because I know that I am a pussy because I'm trying to justify not going out and getting after what I want. Okay? I'll never be happy like that. I'll never be happy because I'm not able to lie to myself, and I know that I'm bullshitting, and I know that I'm a fucking bitch. All right? As opposed to the pain of going after what I want, that's the kind of pain that I want. And let me take some pain on today because that is going to make me consistently happier over time. That's going to solve problems over time. That's going to solve health problems. That's going to solve money problems. That's going to give me higher self-esteem, right? So if we can look at sort of a loose inverse correlation between the stuff that gives you short-term pleasure, oftentimes makes you, over a long period of time leads to consistent unhappiness. Whereas the stuff that gives you short-term pain, and I mean positive pain, it's called eustress. It's a positive stress, okay? Leads to consistent happiness over time. So you want eustress in your life. I've got this here hoodie on because I'm on my way to the gym, and the gym is a perfect example of eustress, positive stress. You lift just enough weight, you go to progressive overload to fatigue, but you keep control of the weight so your joints aren't at risk. And your muscles, you put your muscles in pain so that they can have micro tears, and then you eat enough and you sleep well, and the muscles repair themselves and you get stronger. Okay, so eustress is the right kind of pain and allows you to get stronger. All right, that's the kind of pain that you want. The kind of pain of being a bitch and bitching out in your dreams and being soft and not doing what you want, that's the wrong kind of pain. That's pain that's going to make you weaker, and it's going to make your life worse over time. Okay, and if you think about it, even to take it to a next level, pain and pleasure are two sides of the same coin, and to a degree you want positive pain in your life. You're always chasing it. Like, think of a video game, and you get the cheat code and it's so easy, there's no challenge, and you're bored of it because there's no positive pain, there's no eustress. You want a game where the levels are difficult and you're dying, not too much, but you're dying enough so that it's a challenge, and you're like dying, you're like, fuck, I'm pissed off, but then you go back at it and there's an actual challenge. So when you actually feel like you beat the thing, you feel like you lived up to your potential and that you have a type of reward. When you beat the game with a cheat code, it's bullshit, and that it wasn't a challenge, you didn't challenge yourself, you weren't growing, you weren't expanding, and therefore it doesn't have value. So everything that we value, all right, is going to be attached to some type of positive pain, because everything that we value to a degree is going to be scarce. It's going to be in comparison to other people don't have that. I have that, therefore I deserve to feel a self-esteem because of my girlfriend, because of my business success, etc., right? And that's a lot of what I'm teaching you to do, how to become more competitive in those areas, so that you can get the self-esteem, as well as just the health and wealth benefits that come with it. Not everything in life's a competition, it's one part cooperation, but this is something that can't be denied. That instinct to do well is always going to be a part of all of us, and you do so much better when you go with that instead of go against it. So my advice for you is to just sit down today and write down what are the top 5 things that I'm not doing that are painful that I know I need to do. It's going to be the gym, and it's going to be stuff in your business, or if you're working a job, starting a business, and fucking do those things in order and choose to have that pain and recognize that, hey, I don't want to do this, I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to do it anyways. That's the price to pay for success. I want to have that pain now because that's going to make me consistently happier over long term than the pain of me being lazy, being a bitch, being soft, not living up to my potential, hating myself for it. I refuse to accept that type of pain.